Here are 13 brand new shortcuts that you requested. From tracking mileage automatically in a numbers spreadsheet, open a web page from an automated notification, save full articles to Apple Notes, wake your Apple TV and open a specific app, National Weather Service alerts, and more. But stay till the end, because I'm very excited. I've upgraded my Transcribe and Summarize any podcast. That's right, I'm going to show you how to choose one of the latest episodes of your favorite podcast and automatically get a summary in seconds. All right, let's build some shortcuts. Someone requested a shortcut that they would get a notification at the same time every day, and when they tap the notification, it will open a URL. Well, this shortcut actually starts with a URL, so replace this with whatever web page you would like. It shows a notification, and then this wait to return action means once you tap the notification, it'll automatically open that website. So I actually mapped that shortcut to my action button so I could show you an example. But when that shortcut runs, and we'll automate this in a second, you'll get a notification, and once you tap that notification, it will automatically open the Safari web page. Now, if you wanted that to happen automatically every day, just go to the Automations tab, tap the plus button, we can choose time of day, let's choose at sunrise, and that notification will wait for you if it gets there a little early. We want this to run immediately, and then when we hit next, I've always done a new blank automation and then use the run shortcut command, but someone shared with me, you can literally just search for the shortcut right here. So I'll choose that Open Safari web page automation. Now every morning at sunrise, I'll get that notification, and when I tap it, it'll open the web page. Next up, someone wanted a shortcut that would wake an Apple TV, open a specific app, and then run a HomeKit scene. Well, you'll need to choose your home and scene here, but I've created a shortcut with the steps. Choose your HomeKit scene up at the top, whether that's a good night scene or some kind of dim the light scene. You can choose to wake an Apple TV. Again, you'll have to choose your Apple TV in this action. I have a few Apple TVs here, so I'll choose the Studio Apple TV. So I have a wait command here next because I want to make sure my Apple TV is fully on before it tries to open an app. So we'll wait 7 seconds, and then you can also choose to open an app on a specific Apple TV. Choose the Apple TV first. So I'll choose the Studio TV here, and then you can choose to open an app. That's why you want to choose the TV first, so you see all the apps on that specific Apple TV. And let's go with opening YouTube. Now when I run this shortcut, you'll actually see my Studio Apple TV wake up. You'll actually catch it here in the multi-view here in my studio. And there you go, it is automatically opening the YouTube app on that TV. Next, T.S. Brickley on Threads actually asked if he could have his Eve Flare or other smart home device actually change color if there is a weather service alert in your area. So I actually have two shortcuts here. This first one is National Weather Service alerts. Again, this is here in the United States by state. And this will actually get your current state, uses the National Weather Service API to see if there's any alerts in your area, and then will either show you those alerts or show that there are no current alerts. So if I run the shortcut right now, it'll say there's no alerts at this time, but I did see that there were some alerts in Montana. So I'm actually going to clear the variable right here. And for this particular version of the API, it actually takes 2-letter state abbreviations to look up an alert. I know there's some alerts over in Montana. Now when I run this shortcut, it'll pull all the current alerts out for Montana, and you'll see there they all are. So this is a way where you can pull alerts in your state. And again, I'll leave this set just like this so you can actually get it from your location. But I also have a second version of this shortcut where if you want to customize it to your county, if you're always checking just your county, I have a Florida county here. But I'll also put a link to the National Weather Service county zones here. And if you want to find your county, just go to County Zones, find your county, and then this code right here, like FLC001, replace that in the URL here. Then it will only pull alerts for your specific county. You'll see if I run this right now, there are no alerts, so it'll just say no alerts. Now, if you wanted this to automatically change a smart home device, you could add some actions here at the end. So if no alerts show up, then nothing is going to change. But I could add a control home action, and here I can choose a device, maybe like an Eve Flare. Here's my Eve Flare right here, and then you can decide to actually turn it on, turn it off, and then have it change to a specific color, maybe red for an alert. And now when there's an alert, your Eve Flare will change that color. By the way, if you didn't know, that's an Eve Flare right there. It's the glowing orb. And if you want to know what that little figurine is in front of it, just let me know in the comments. Now, the only way you could have that automated so you don't have to take action is, again, Automations tab. Limited triggers here. There's no way you can trigger an automation to run based on a National Weather Service alert. So I would do something like time of day, have this run every morning at sunrise, and then if there's any alerts for that day, it will change your Eve Flare or other smart home device. You would have this run immediately, and then you could search for that National Weather Service alert either for your state or your specific county. By the way, that National Weather Service shortcut, I was able to build that because of my custom shortcuts GPT. That's one of the benefits when you support the community and my channel by going to create.beard.fm. As I record, we are 5 people away from 1,000 members of the community, and it's free to join, so go to create.beard.fm, join for free. And if you'd like to support this channel and get access to my custom shortcuts GPT that I continually train on new APIs like from the National Weather Service, I also use this to build the big podcast shortcuts that will be at the end of this video. Plus, your shortcuts requests will be priority when I make these videos, and you can drop those in the shortcuts requests here. Over 230 of you support the channel this way. So appreciative of that. Thank you. And you can join for free and again support the channel at create.beard.fm. All right, next, I've had so many people ask about mileage tracking automatically with shortcuts. Well, I think it's possible now. I've created 2 shortcuts here. This first one is to start mileage tracking. We're going to automate this so you don't even have to run them in a second. But this shortcut gets your current location and then logs that location to DataJar. I've talked about DataJar before in previous videos. I'll link to that app in the description below as well. And so what this does is going to log the current street address to DataJar. And we're going to automate that using CarPlay or by connecting to your car Bluetooth in a moment. And then I have a second shortcut here. And what this does is when it runs, we'll pull that first address from DataJar, we'll format that, get the distance from the first address to the current address, so wherever you stopped the car, it formats the current date, and then it adds all of that information to a numbers spreadsheet. Now you're going to have to select all this data here so it's custom to your spreadsheet. Now I've changed this data because it was my personal address before, but you'll have the origin address here, the destination address, and the miles will be calculated automatically from the shortcut and dropped in this last column. Date will be formatted here with the time, and keep in mind you do need to know the table name, so I have it travel here, driving is the sheet name, and then I call this my business travel spreadsheet. You'll need to make sure you choose the right table, sheet, and then document all here in the numbers action. And you want to make sure to add the data in the proper order so it goes across the columns properly. But set it up this way, and you can just download this shortcut in the video description and all the shortcuts below. But now you can track your miles and you can automate this by going to the automations tab. And you can do this either by whenever you connect to CarPlay. So when CarPlay connects, run immediately. Then rather than do new blank automation, just choose the start mileage tracking here, and then create a second automation for when CarPlay disconnects, and choose the end mileage tracking for that. If you don't have CarPlay, you can still use this by connecting to a Bluetooth device if your car is Bluetooth. Just choose your car device here, and it can automatically run that way. Or if you don't have any of that, you can still run these shortcuts manually from your phone as like a widget. Keep in mind, you do have to set up that one list in DataJar. I called it mileage. And if you go to the DataJar app, all you would do is press the plus button here. You can create a new list, type your key. I called it mileage. You could do that so it matches the shortcut, and that's all you need to do. Here in the action, you just put that list name, which is mileage, and make sure overwrite is on yes. Again, if you just download the shortcut from below, it'll be set for you. Next up, Steve Barajas from the community wanted a shortcut that summarized Apple News articles for you with ChatGPT. You need the ChatGPT app installed for this, but this works from the share sheet whenever you're reading an Apple News article. So let's say you're looking at an article here, you just tap the share button, look for the Apple News GPT summary action here, give it a second as it's sending the text to ChatGPT and it's summarizing it, and there you have a ChatGPT summary of that article. Now instead, if you're reading articles in Safari and you want to save the entire text to an Apple Note, well, this shortcut is for you. You can run this from the share sheet, reading any article. Let's choose an article from beard.fm here. You hit the share button, choose the save article to notes shortcut, and that's actually going to take the raw text, and typically it takes the header image as well, and will add it to an Apple Note automatically. Choose your Apple Note folder if you would like, but once it runs, you get the full text of the article saved into an Apple Note. Lastly, I've been updating this morning routine as people have requests. So now it has both current calendar events, the weather, travel time to your workplace, and reminders for the day, and it will all be seen in this report. You can choose to either speak the text or to show it in Quick Look, but when you run it, it'll aggregate all that information, then it can show you to you via text or actually speak it to you.
Good morning, Stephen. Here's what your day looks like.
Now, I've taken the liberty to also play the latest episode of Primary Technology at the end. That's my tech podcast with Jason Atem. You can totally subscribe above, links in the description. But you can also filter some of the things that it pulls, like the events, rather than getting all calendars. Maybe just choose a few calendars if you would like. But this morning routine is getting pretty robust. If you'd like to see anything else added to the morning routine, let me know down in the comments. Carlos Rodriguez had a request about wanting to program his smart home shades that if there's high winds, they actually don't lower and they'll retract so they don't get damaged by the wind. Well, I created a little shortcut here where it gets an hourly forecast for the next 24 hours, gets the wind speed, and if wind speed is greater than 15 miles per hour, and you can adjust that number or change it to kilometers per hour if you'd like, then it will set whatever HomeKit accessories you need. You can tap here and choose your various shades. Then you can have this run every morning, let's say at sunrise, and if there's going to be high winds that day, have your windows automatically go up, or if you have other automations that have them automatically come down, maybe schedule this to run right after that. So your shades come down, and then this automation runs, and then it will check for high winds. But let me know, Carlos, if this starts working for you. All right, Salza requested an interesting shortcut here in YouTube comments. They want to be able to mute social apps when they first open, but if they've already raised the volume in that app, go to respond to a text message and then go back, they want the volume to stay the same. So I'm actually using a new action here from iOS 18, which gets the last app. And I'm going to program this to run whenever I open Instagram. So what this does is it will get the value for whatever the last app was that was open. If that value is one of the social media apps like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, it does nothing. Otherwise, it's going to log the current app to data jar. Again, it's another use case here, and set the volume to 0%. If I've programmed this properly, it should lower the volume to 0 if it's my first time opening the app, but if I go to messages and then come back, it should leave the volume as is. So I'm going to go to automations, and I'm going to program this to run when I open an app. So we go down to the app trigger here, when app is opened, and you can choose multiple apps here. I'll just do Instagram for now. We want this to run immediately. Don't notify when run. We'll hit next, and let's choose our social app volume shortcut. So I'm going to go home, and let's raise the media volume. Now, if the shortcut works properly, media volume should go to 0. I open Instagram, and there we go. You saw a little volume slider go to 0, and if I check the control center, volume is 0. Now, let's say I'm scrolling. I actually raise the volume because I'm watching some reels. I'm going to leave Instagram for a moment, maybe open the messages, answer a text message, and let me go back to Instagram. Because Instagram was previously the last app opened, it shouldn't do anything to adjust the volume. And the volume is still set where I had it before. I think that accomplishes what you want. The only issue here is data jar is going to hold on to that last app that was opened, which was Instagram, until this changes. So you might need to create another automation that when you open something random like settings or an app that you open once a day but not too often, that it will record that app. And you could do that by creating a new automation. We can choose app. When an app is opened, let's choose something like mail, where you open it often, but probably wouldn't open it in between watching Instagram Reels. We want this to run immediately. Hit next. I am going to do a new blank automation this time. I'm going to get current app action and then set value for data jar. So we're going to set the last app, which is what I named that list. Down here in the app action, I need to choose name. And now whenever I open mail, it's going to log last app as mail in data jar. So if I go to mail, let's open the mail app. And now if I go back to data jar, that last app says mail. And because that's now been reset, when I open the Instagram app, that shortcut is going to run. And because mail was last, volume will go to 0. So that should work for you, but reach out, let me know in the community, create.beard.fm, if you'd like something different. All right, the next one I actually created for myself. I wanted to be able to unmute my phone when I put it on the charger at night because I missed an important call recently and I wanted to not do that again. So what I have here is Unsilent at night, checks what the time is. If it is 10 p.m. or later, it's going to turn silent mode off and set my media volume to about 50%. Then I have a second shortcut, which is silent at morning, where it checks the time. If it's 6 a.m. or later, then it will turn silent mode on, and I'm definitely getting up after 6 a.m. most days, and sets media volume to 0. And then what I can do is I automated these shortcuts to run when I place my phone on my charger. So when my phone is connected to power, I'm running Unsilent at night. So when I charge my phone, which is very likely after 10 p.m., my phone is going to unsilence itself. And then I have another automation for the morning when I take it off the charger or disconnect it from power. If it's after 6 a.m., my phone will go back to silent mode. So you can download those two shortcuts and program them for when connected to power and when disconnected. This next request is very similar. Someone wanted night shift to enable, but only after a certain time. So this is night shift on by time. If it's after 6 p.m., night shift is going to turn off. If it's before 6 p.m., night shift is going to turn off. So again, you can combine these in a variety of ways, whether it's time of day, opening an app, and I think that's what this request was for. So you can have when app is opened, run that shortcut, and turn night shift off when you close that app. All right, finally, I've been working a lot on my big podcast shortcut. My goal was to be able to get a transcription and summary of recent podcast episodes from my favorite shows automatically. Now, previously, it was a little wonky with trying to choose an episode and name, so I have totally revamped the shortcut. The first thing I do is actually have you choose a menu. You can add more shows here, and all you need is the RSS feed. And if there's any show requests you'd like me to add to this, let me know in the comments. But once you choose a show, it actually lets you choose one of the last 3 episodes, and then it pulls that audio file, adds it to Apple Notes to transcribe and summarize. But using my Shortcuts GPT that I've been training, I added a very key if statement to this shortcut, which is if the podcast already provides a transcript in the RSS feed, it will add that to an Apple Note along with a summary from ChatGPT. So for instance, my show, Primary Technology, we include a full transcript with every episode. Shout out to Transistor, where we host our podcast. And for every episode, most modern podcast hosts do this, Buzzsprout does it, Transistor, you can attach an episode transcript, and then that transcript actually is embedded in the RSS feed. Now, I was surprised how many shows don't do this yet. Pretty much all these shows that I have here in this list don't have their own transcript. But if it does, like Primary Technology, when you run this shortcut, I'm going to choose Primary Technology here. It's going to give me the last 3 episodes in the feed. This was actually today's episode. We actually recorded and published earlier. I'm going to tap that latest episode, and what this shortcut is going to do is actually pull the transcript through the RSS feed, summarize it using ChatGPT, and then put the summary as well as the entire transcript into an Apple Note for me. It takes a few seconds because it's a very long transcript, but once it's done running, it will create an Apple Note. Here's the summary from ChatGPT, key points from ChatGPT, and then under that little line divider is the entire transcript of the podcast. In just a few seconds, you can have that summary and transcript in an Apple Note, plus the episode title is actually used for the Apple Note rather than some weird thing like I did last time. So any show that supports transcripts, you get this automatically from the shortcut, which is awesome. Now, shows that do not have a transcript in their RSS feed, like any of these other ones, I can choose, let's say something like Decoder. It'll give me the last few episodes. I can choose the latest episode. This is now going to download the audio file from the feed and put it in an Apple Note. Happens pretty fast, as long as your internet speed is pretty fast. And if you have an iPhone 12 or newer, you can go into the audio attachment, and it is going to transcribe the entire podcast. So after a few moments, you'll get that full transcript right here in Apple Notes. I've been testing this a lot with various shows. Here's the latest episode of The Talk Show with John Gruber. Actually has the episode title for the Apple Note title. It did this automatically. It transcribed it, no problem right here. I have the full transcript. I can listen to it. And if you have Apple Intelligence on your iPhone, you can get that summary of the episode as well. It's a pretty long summary, to be honest. I wish I could customize this with like ChatGPT, but if you really wanted to, you could like copy this summary, paste it here in the Apple Note, and then select all and maybe use like the writing tools to summarize it even further. I'll ask it for a summary of even the longer summary, and now have a 1-paragraph summary of the podcast. Adding it to the Apple Note isn't ideal, but you do get that full transcript and summary if you have Apple Intelligence. Here was that audio file of the latest Decoder episode, and we have the full transcript already. I can go to the summary, and Apple Intelligence will summarize it for me also. So with this shortcut, you can transcribe, whether it has a transcription in the RSS feed or by downloading the audio and adding it to Apple Notes, with any podcast. Now, you can even automate this further. So I have a second shortcut that I will include in the video description, and this shortcut is for Apple News. I actually have the RSS feed here at the top as the first action. It's going to get the latest episode of the Apple News podcast, and it's going to automatically download the episode and add it to my Apple Notes. Then I programmed this shortcut to run every morning, so I could just wake up and the Apple Note is automatically created for me. I created it last night, had it automatically run this morning, and I got the Apple Note with the audio already ready to go. And once that audio file is there, you get the transcript, you get the summary, and so for whatever podcast you want, you can automatically get it added to an Apple Note, automatically get a transcription, and a summary. Now, the one piece of data you'll need to get is that RSS feed. If you want to add more shows to this choose from menu, you can add a new item. And the main thing you'll need to do is add the RSS feed here and set it as a variable. 2 blocks, add a text block, or you could literally just use the set variable action and set variable RSS to, and then just paste an RSS URL right here. That works also. And if you're looking for the RSS feed from your favorite show, I'll put a link to podnews.net. It's probably the best resource for that. You can literally search for any podcast. I'll search for Primary Technology because, did I mention that's my show with Jason Aten? You should subscribe. Anyway, once you search for it, you see all the podcast results. You go to that podcast result, and Podnews lists all the links to the different podcast apps like Pocket Cast and Overcast, but they also have the plain RSS feed link right here. James Cridland, it's a great resource. Thank you for this. Copy that RSS feed, add it to that shortcut, then you can get that transcript and summary of your favorite shows. So I have even more plans for this podcast transcription and summary shortcut, so get subscribed. I'm going to be updating you in the future. Hit that like button if you haven't yet, and again, leave questions, shortcuts requests down in the comments. Plus, I'd love to have you in the shortcuts community and support the channel by becoming a member there. You can do that at create.beard.fm. If you missed my last shortcuts request video, you can catch it right up here. And if you want to start from the very beginning, maybe you're brand new to shortcuts, or maybe you got a new iPhone 16e with an action button and you want to know what shortcuts work for that, I'll put a video specifically on action button shortcuts right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.